9 years ago was the last time Arsenal beat Manchester City at the Etihad in the Premier League. Since then, it has been countless painful defeats both home and away, but this season probably might be the start of a new change in the Premier League era for Arsenal versus Manchester City. On Sunday, Arsenal take on Manchester City in a game that could set up the title race for epic proportions. But can Arsenal get the job done, or will City keep the streak at the Etihad alive? Let's get into it.
I'm really in my zone. All my niggas getting cheese like it's provolone. They ain't with us at the bottom, so they'll never know. Even through trial and error, gotta keep yourself composed. Feel like me, little bitch, I'm chasing all my dreams.
Yes, welcome back to another video on the Big Steph channel. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe as we preview Arsenal versus Manchester City. This game is going to be a massive game and it has massive title implications all over it. Now, before we touch on the matchups, let's get into how the two teams come into this game. Firstly, we have Arsenal on a run of 8 straight Premier League wins. The last time Arsenal had 9 straight Premier League wins was March 2004, and if you're familiar, that was the season of the Invincibles. Exactly 20 seasons ago, that's the last time Arsenal won the Premier League, was the last time they won 9 straight Premier League games. Hopefully that's a good omen, and hopefully we can see 9 straight coming this Sunday, but it's going to be a very tough test against a team that has been on an impeccable run in the Premier League, won 3 straight Premier League titles and off the back of a treble, and a team who over years has quite honestly had our number. But let's get into Manchester City's record going into this game. They're also unbeaten, and their run goes like this: a 3-1 win versus Burnley, a 3-1 win versus Brentford, a 2-0 win versus Everton, a 1-1 draw with Chelsea, a 1-0 win over Brentford, a 1-0 win over Bournemouth, a 3-1 win over United, and a 1-1 draw against Liverpool. Now, if form in the league is anything to go by, Arsenal have been scoring more goals. Our defensive record has been a little bit better, and we just look like we're playing the better football right now at the moment. But form goes straight out the window when it comes to top of the table clashes like this, and I think it's going to be a massive occasion on Sunday. Now, firstly, I want to touch on what I think is going to happen in the game. Now, the game back in October, which Arsenal did manage to win, 1-0 through a Martinelli goal. It was a very tough game, a game with very few chances, but it ultimately came down to a moment of magic and a moment of luck for Arsenal. But I think that game we showed a lot of defensive solidity. I think at that time Haaland and Man City had an XG of what, 0.002. I think that's the number that was going around. Insane stat. However, this is going to be at the Etihad, a place we have not much luck in recent years. Like I said, 9 years there without a win in the Premier League. But I do think it will be a game of very, very few chances. Key matchups, in my opinion, to look for. If Nathan Ake is playing, he's probably gonna play left back, and he's probably gonna be going up against our Bukayo Saka, who normally gives him a very, very tough game. And I think if Arsenal are going to get anything out of this game, we know our right hand side is our prominent side. Our right hand side, which is Bukayo Saka, Ben White, and Martin Odegaard, they are going to be the key. If we can get those players interchanging and working and get that right hand side flowing, I think that opens up brilliant opportunities on the left hand side. We'll touch when I get to my predicted 11, we'll get to who I think would be on that left hand side to give us that dynamism. But I think that right hand side and that key matchup is going to be something that Arsenal and Arsenal fans are going to hope to see come to fruition, because we need that right hand side to click. Secondly, I want to look at that midfield 3. The midfield 3 for Arsenal, for me, is going to be imperative. Now, firstly, with a few more weeks under his belt, could we see the introduction of a Thomas Partey, or do we revert back to a Jorginho, Declan Rice, Martin Odegaard midfield 3 that we see in the big games? Or would he look to add, with Gabriel Jesus coming back into fitness, would he like to add Havertz to the midfield, or would he put Jesus on the left? However Arteta lines up, I think that midfield 3 is very, important. I'd go personally with the midfield three: Jorginho, Declan Rice, and Martin Odegaard. I think that midfield three has shown that not only does it have the capabilities of keeping the ball well and keeping the tempo high and keeping the ball moving and keeping that energy and that rhythm alive in the Arsenal squad, but I just thought defensively, having Jorginho there and yes, allowing Declan Rice that freedom, but also allowing Declan Rice to come back and win those balls and to be a bit more aggressive in his ball winning skills, allows Arsenal to pinch the ball back high up the field and transition and counter attack better. Something we're going to need to be doing at the Etihad because I think City will dominate the possession. So I think a midfield three that's going to keep the ball well, win the ball back in good areas, and transition well is very key. Very, very key to beating City at the Etihad. And I think Jorginho is the link that's probably going to be able to do it for us, along with Declan Rice and along with Martin Odegaard. Now, let's touch on how I'm really feeling going into the game. Now, going into the game, I can't lie, I'm not nervous. I think if anything, the win at the Emirates kind of gives me a lot more confidence, and seeing how the team is playing going into this game gives me a lot more confidence. Like I said in my last couple of videos, I think if Arsenal won the game against Brentford and won the Champions League game, it keeps that energy and that belief alive and simmering amongst the fans. And I don't think that energy has gone anywhere. I think if anything, I think we had a good international break. Unlike City, we don't have any injuries. I don't think. I think Bukayo Saka should be good. Gabriel should be good. All the players that are doubts should be good. Um, as of today, it looks like there'll be no Kyle Walker. There'll be no John Stones. So, but we know Pep is the master of mind games. We'll see if they're not really there. But as of right now, they're not there. So I think that international break, we came through the international break with no injuries, with no notable injuries, I should say. And I think that energy we carried before the international break, with that rest and that energy still simmering, I think our chances of winning this game are up there. I think every Arsenal fan should go into this game feeling not a sense of cockiness, but a sense of we could do it. A sense of we could do it. Last year, I know we went into the game with a little bit of a wobble. We went into the game dropping points to Liverpool, to Southampton, and those teams. I think this season could possibly be different. I think this season could possibly be different. Like I said, this season so far, we've been putting a lot of our wrongs right. Fixtures and games that we're normally losing. We've seen Everton away. That was a tough game. We won that game. We picked up wins against teams and oppositions over this season that have given us problems. We've got over the hurdle of the round of 16. I think this team has shown a mental fortitude that could take us over the line. And I think every Arsenal fan should believe in this team going forward. So going into this game, I'm not very confident, but I do believe in the boys and I will be backing the boys. Now, how do I think Arteta would approach the game, lineup wise and tactic wise? Um, Lineup. Let's just get into that. I think the back line picks itself. You have David Raya in goal, Ben White at right back, two centre backs, Gabriel and Saliba, barring any injuries. Hopefully Gabriel is there, but I think he will be. We have Jakub Kivior at left back. Now, a lot of people are debating whether Tomiyasu should come in or whether Zinchenko should come in. I think you go with the guy who's been playing and who's been sharp enough in those games. Coming back and putting a player like Zinchenko back into the team for a game like that. We've seen him against Porto look a little bit rusty. I know he's had a little bit of weeks and he had international duty. I just would go with the tried and trusted, even though Jakub Kivior played a lot of minutes during international break. I still would trust Jakub Kivior with that role to go in at left back. Now, like I said, I picked the midfield three already: Jorginho, Rice, and Odegaard. I think that midfield three, like I said, keeps the ball well, is probably going to win the ball back in good areas, and it will be allow us to transition well with speed, with the counter attack, with the front three. I'm hoping to see in Kai Havertz to win the knockdowns. I'd go with Bukayo Saka on the left, on the right, and I'd go if he's fit, Gabriel Martinelli. Now I know this is a big doubt. Martinelli went down in the Sheffield United game, um, with an injury. He was reported a few weeks ago to be on crutches. He didn't play the Brentford game. He didn't play the Porto game. No reports have really come out about any update. Mikel Arteta said he could possibly play, but we've seen him say the same thing about Bukayo Saka earlier in the season, and then Bukayo Saka didn't play at all. So hopefully Martinelli is fit. And if Martinelli is fit and ready to play, I'm playing Martinelli because that speed, that dynamism, that change of pace, that directness, I think every time we don't have it, we miss it so much in our game. So much. And I think that out ball and that electricity Martinelli brings to the squad is something that we're gonna need against Man City. Like I said, Martinelli's speed will allow us to get in better areas and hurt City because we can see over the course of the season that you can get at Manchester City. It's not like this. It's not like City from years ago. You can get at the City team, and if you're ready, you can't. You got to take your chances, and you got to be clinical. So that's how I'd line up. How do I think Mikel would approach the game tactically? Um, I'm kind of in between. I hear a lot of pundits speaking about the high press, the going gun, the winning the ball back. But I think Mikel might trick a lot of people and set off in a lot of areas this game. I think Arsenal might play this game on its merit, play this game possibly like a Champions League tie. It might confuse a lot of people, but I think that's what will happen. We've seen against Porto that this Arsenal team is not afraid to put their foot on the ball and relax, or not allowed to, are not scared to let teams have it and let the game happen in front of them and pick their moments on when to strike. If Mikel Arteta learned anything from that Porto game, I think he should be able to add that layer of unpredictability to his game and really hurt City with the game plan they don't expect, just like they did to us at the Etihad last season with that Route 1 football and those knockdowns to De Bruyne off of Haaland. I think if we kind of play the game on its merit, play it like a Champions League tie, get a little bit nasty, and approach the game like that, I think we could really do something against City and do City damage, especially if we have the pace of Gabriel Martinelli. But if Gabriel Martinelli is not in the side, I'd go probably Trossard, or no, I'd go with Gabriel Jesus. Gabriel Jesus, I think with that trickery and that dynamism he has, I think that unpredictability, that skill level he has, I think you always want to have your best players on the pitch. If no Gabriel Martinelli, I'd play Gabriel Jesus in that game because of what I know he's going to bring for us. And possibly the chance that he might take his chance and get a goal against his former club. That also plays a massive effect into it. You can't doubt that psychological effect that has. But finally, what do I think the score will be? Like I said, I think the game will be a very tense game, possibly a game of very few chances, a game that Arsenal will possibly need to be very clinical in. Um, We're possibly going to have to win a lot of long balls. City might want to press us high, might want to win the ball back high. We might have to use Kai Havertz a lot. We might have to sit off of it a lot. And we might have to pick our moments and our spots and take our chances a lot. So, which is why I'm going with a 1-0 victory to the Arsenal. I know it sounds very, very cliche and very safe, but I think our defense, first of all, our defense and our structure allows us that platform, like we did at Emirates, to soak up a lot of pressure and win the ball where we need to win it, and then allows us to go forward and score goals. If Arsenal are able to be strong defensively, have that defensive structure, have that courage in defense and want to defend it, especially when we have defenders like Gabriel in there and Saliba in there and Kivior in there and Declan Rice. If we have that strong spine in there, I believe Arsenal could limit a lot of the chances that we see Manchester City get. And as well, I think if there's one chance and it falls to one of our guys, I believe this squad could take the chances because we've been in good goal scoring form. I think this is a game that you're gonna have to play on its merit. It might not be pretty, like all of us imagine. It might not be a goal fest. It might be a bore fest. But I'll take a 1-0 victory if that means Arsenal will stay top of the Premier League table on Sunday night. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you guys think down below. This is my predictions for Arsenal versus Manchester City. What do you guys think? Who are your guys' predicted scorers? How do you think Mikel Arteta would approach the game, lineup wise and tactic wise? And yeah, we're on the road to 1,000. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on the video. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.